Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm here with an interesting case involving a man who decided to grill out back. His homeowners association fined him $50,000, and in response he reminded them that he owns the lake. Now, let's get into the details of this crazy situation. If you don't know about HOAs, they are difficult. They send out fines like they own the place. But in this particular case, the person who got the fine decided to fight back, because it turned out he actually did own a part of the property that the HOA was trying to fine him for using. In late April 2023, Mr. Haney had just purchased a beautiful home in Florida for $1.4 million. He paid cash. That's a lot of money, and he thought he would be able to enjoy his new house. However, the next day after closing, he received a letter from the HOA. It told him he wasn't allowed to use his backyard grill. It said, quote, "You must not barbecue in your backyard. Our rules state that you may only use the barbecue grills located at the clubhouse or the gazebo." The grill in question is pictured here. This is his brand new grill. He wanted to use it to cook a meal for his friends and family. Mr. Haney talked with his friends. They couldn't believe this rule existed. In their eyes, it made no sense. There was nothing in the paperwork stating that he couldn't use his own grill, so he decided to go ahead and use his grill. A few days later, someone from the HOA sent him another warning letter. It said that he violated the rules and regulations again by barbecuing outside his house. The letter demanded a $50,000 fine. This is where things get really interesting. Mr. Henley pulled out the plat map. The plat map shows the property lines of every piece of land in the neighborhood. It also shows any common areas. He noticed something very strange. The plat map shows that he owns the lake behind his property. The lake isn't common property, it belongs to him. All the other neighbors were shocked when they saw this. Most of them thought the lake belonged to the HOA. When the HOA heard about this, they tried to fine him again. However, this time it was for $100,000. That's double what they fined him for grilling his own food. Clearly, they didn't like the fact that he was grilling his own food. But how could they justify fining him $100,000? They tried to say that they owned the lake. However, he reminded them that he bought the lake with his house. The HOA president contacted him and asked him why he was making such a big deal over such a small issue. He told the president that he paid $1.4 million for the house, and he should be able to do whatever he wants with his own property. He reminded the president again that he owns the lake behind the house. The president wasn't happy and told him to stay out of the lake. Said, quote, "You can't put a boat in our lake." Mr. Henny responded by saying that he could do whatever he wanted since he owns the lake. The HOA president started to panic. He knew that he was in trouble, so he called the police and asked them to come to his house. When the officers arrived, they told him that he didn't break any laws. He was free to use his grill and even put a boat in the lake. The HOA president was furious. He tried everything he could think of to get Mr. Haney kicked out, but nothing worked. However, it gets even better. After talking with the police, Mr. Haney decided to use his grill one more time. He cooked up a storm and invited all the neighbors over. He gave them hamburgers and hot dogs, even had a party. The HOA president was fuming. Tried to find a way to get him kicked out, but there was nothing he could do. This is where things get really sweet. Mr. Haney decided to sue the HOA. He wanted to make an example out of them. Took them to court, and the judge ruled in his favor. The HOA had to pay all of his legal fees. Plus, they couldn't fine him for using his own grill. He also won the right to use the lake however he wants. People in the neighborhood started to see the truth. They realized that the HOA president was a dictator. Tried to control their lives, but now he got taken down a peg. This story has a great lesson. Don't mess with people who know their rights. Also, don't mess with people who own a lake. Now, let's take a look at some comments from viewers. John Smith said, "I love this one. You go, sir, with the lawsuit. People like that need to be taught a lesson. Make sure you hit them hard enough so they remember it." Kevin Gillis commented, "If the guy has the deed for the lake, then the HOA has no business telling him what he can or cannot do with his property. The HOA needs to mind their own business." Jonathan Mays commented, "What does the HOA have to say about this?" And the answer to that question is right here in the article. It says, quote, "The HOA did not respond to requests for comment. However, one of their members named Jonathan Meyer said that the HOA was looking into the situation and they will likely file a countersuit against the man." Now that is pretty rich coming from an HOA member. how can he speak for the entire organization? Like he's not even the president or the CEO. I guess these people live in a fantasy world where they think they're always right. Here's another comment from Nicole McAniff. She said, the HOA should be dissolved. They are nothing but a headache for all homeowners. They have no right to tell anyone what they can or cannot do in their own homes or yards. This is America, not communist China. Everyone should be able to do as they please as long as they are not hurting anyone else. Now, she makes a great point. These HOAs really need to be abolished. Let's take a look at another one, Robert Bruce said. As a real estate agent and former prosecutor, I can say if you want to keep all the drama out of your life, avoid HOAs like the plague. If you do decide to buy in an HOA community, read the covenants, conditions, and restrictions carefully before buying. If you don't like them, don't buy there. Because once you sign on the dotted line, you will be stuck with them forever. This is good advice, especially if you're in a community with an HOA. You need to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Read through the documents carefully and understand what you'll be dealing with. Here's a final comment from Sandra S. Curry. She said, he owned the lake, so he can fish whenever he wants to. They can't stop him from putting his boat in the water. He can dock his boat in his yard. If they try to cut his grass and he pays for it, they can't stop him. He can build a pier. They can't stop him. It's his lake. They need to back off. He can even use his lights on his pier if he wants to. As long as he pays the electric bill, they can't stop him. Again, great points. This is exactly what happens when you mess with someone who knows their rights and owns a lake. That's all the comments we have time for today. Guys, thanks for watching. Please hit that like button. We're really close to a major milestone. Also, check out this important video. Have a great rest of your day.